and that had a lot of the book connection in it too. And Shelley Duvall's fairy tale theater production of Beauty and the Beast, which was heavily derived from Cocteau. In the Hare book, there's even a passing reference to Ron Coslow's television series, with an amusing footnote about the volume of mail Ron Perlman received from Vincent's admirers. But neither Hare's scholarly exploration of the fairy tale, nor any of the other published interviews with creators of the television series make any mention of a limited 4-part comic book series published by Marvel Comics from December 1984 through June 1985. So remember, this one would have come out probably when the series was being thought about, because when you see something on television, it's usually been in the works for a while. So the series, a story by Anno Sentai, is set in the world of the X-Men. And as a lot of you know from the movie, in this alternate reality, which was originally created in 1963 by writer-editor Stan Lee and illustrator Jack Kirby, it's a different reality, and instead of racial prejudice, they have prejudice against mutants, those born genetically different. So mutant gifts take a wide variety of forms, but they always set the bearer apart from the rest of society. So in this story, the beauty is lovely Allison Blair. Gosh, that's an 80s looking picture if there ever was one. An aspiring performer known as the Dazzler. Now, Allison looked normal, but she had mutant powers, and her escalating career is ruined when word leaks out that the spectacular light show in her act is not a special effect. Her mutant gift enables her to transmute sound into light and causes light to emanate from her body. The Beast is one Hank McCoy, an affable guy with ferocious strength, with pointy wolf-like ears and royal blue fur. In the original X-Men comics, by the way, the animal appearance of the Beast contrasts sharply with his erudite speech. However, by the time of this 4-part series, the Beast role is built by someone of more average intellect. So Allison's despair over her failed career crushes her spirit, and Hank finds her lying unconscious on a beach. Much the way Vincent healed Catherine, Hank carries her to a hideaway from mutants, and comic books sometimes go way over the top, so instead of the tunnels, they had a home with a terribly maudlin named Heartbreak Hotel. Now, poor in terms of material wealth, but rich in hope, Hank and his fellow outcasts try to cheer her and help her put her life back into perspective. So friendship and love develop between Allison and the Beast. However, Allison's desire to entertain lures her into lucrative performance art at a private club. In fact, I didn't even think about this until now, but she was basically blacklisted, so she was having to go to an underground source of entertainment. Unbeknownst to her, she and the other mutant performers are being controlled by drugs, a rough parallel with Catherine's experience in Dark Spirit. Furthermore, she doesn't know that the wealthy, degenerate club patrons are drawn by the promise of a murder on stage each night. Discovering the trap, Hank resolves to save Allison. At one point, the two are even drugged and made to face each other on the fatal stage in a rose-filled set out of the Cocteau film. But in a scene not unlike a pivotal one in The Alchemist, pure hearts override drug minds and love does ultimately triumph over evil. Beyond a few similarities in storylines, the television series also shares significant quotes and literary references with the Marvel Comics series. In Volume 1, well-read but malevolent Dr. Doom, who can be comparable to Paracelsus, declares few men can control the beast within. And he talks a lot about good and evil. And in Volume 2, a clown-like mutant named Link says of his refuge, and see if you can count the Beauty and the Beast references in this one, "What good is money when I already have everything I want at the Heartbreak? This place is so blessed, even Romeo and Juliet would have made it here. Orpheus would have never looked back and lost Eurydice. Beauty would have loved the Beast had they had a haven like Heartbreak." In Volume 3, Allison learns that her fellow performance art gladiators believe that the scars they have are beautiful, but that's Stephen Bass's statement from Down to a Sunless Sea. And while Hank broods over what is happening to Allison, another mutant named Cates admonishes the Beast to follow his heart. And of course, that's a sentiment repeatedly expressed by Vincent. When Hank visits Allison in her dressing room, she echoes the perception about the beauty of scars while dressed in a Native American war bonnet. On the facing page, she showed up, and this is the slide we have here, made up with war paint that closely resembles Catherine's slashing wounds. So clearly the Marvel Beauty and the Beast comic book series was a curious presage to some of the literary and moral messages of the television series. Before Beauty and the Beast was a fairy tale, before it was written in 18th century France, by women I might add, romantic European fairy tales followed a predictable formula. In countless stories, a force of evil threatens a beautiful, innocent young girl, but a valiant prince comes to her rescue and marries her. The marriage brings good fortune to the kingdom, for virtue and beauty now rule jointly with strength and courage. Beauty and the Beast gave us a new kind of new heroine. Unlike her virtuous but generally passive predecessors, Belle did not wait for a man to salvage a desperate situation. This time it was the prince who waited helplessly for a brave and beautiful woman to break the spell and marry him. With the television series, we are given a heroine whose name Catherine means pure one, and a hero Vincent whose name signifies conqueror. While the names would be well suited to one of those earlier passive princess saved by active prince stories, in terms of mythic structure, Catherine is the hero of this myth, because she's the one who journeys to another world and returns stronger and more courageous. Often it's Vincent who waits patiently in the shadows, playing the support role, or magically comes to her aid like an agent of the supernatural. And I might mention that the mythic structure changed in season 3. They seemed to try to reverse that in a lot of ways. It was, Vincent that needed rescued, etc.